right, well, we're going to start for real this time, and we will have to see if Sane has been able to overcome his need for speed. Maybe he's been able to make some more strategic draft choices.
Prepare for draft.
On Ruins of Sarnath, our first map. Later in the night, seeing that as the first map, instead of the Blood Covenant Blood Runs back-to-back that I had earlier tonight. So this is a nice little change of pace.
I'm looking at the pics here. I like Visor. I definitely like Visor here, for sure, because of the vision.
It's a big enough map to make it really valuable. Really worth it. Plus,
So
he's got a good starting stack.
I think we can make a safe assumption that Sane's going to go with Anarchy off the bat. I'm wondering what ScizR decides, though.
I think he's right to go Ranger here.
Kicking a man when he's down, that's pretty low.
Honestly, I feel like Ranger is just sort of a good pick almost any time, especially if you're uncertain. Really good starting mobility, starting stack. Dire Orb's an incredible ability, so just a good all-around pick.
Definitely like the ability of Visor for what Sane's running right now, because he's going to start with Anarchy, and he may even go with Nyx as the second pick. So having Visor out there, it's good to set an ambush on a fast-moving Anarchy and get yourself a kill, and two, it's a good Ghost Walk counter. So
3, 2,
let's see what happens.
round 1, fight.
Tune in this week. All right, so the heavy armor spawn going in the favor of ScizR. I think I'm just going to stick on his POV and get X-ray to work, if it would please. Wow, kind of a gutsy. I don't know if he just didn't see him over there by Little Armor, but
he didn't realize that was a mistake. He obviously didn't realize he was going up to that jump pad into an LG stream. He's fortunate to get away.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Stopwatch.
So both major items are pretty much on the same timer. So again, it's who's gonna force somebody off of their item and be able to separate them and start running things. I think it's really effective against the Nyx if you separate the item timers, because of her low stack and her Ghost Walk ability has to come back up. If you force Nyx to get into multiple engagements like over and over again, the Ghost Walk timing is not going to not work out for her.
Absolutely, and she can't she can't have a big enough stack to really survive open brawls in between Ghost Walks. So, for those of you that are probably like, X-ray, 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 I promise you, I'm hitting the hotkey for it. So, hopefully that'll come up here soon. Might just jump around POVs if it doesn't, though, so we can keep an eye on everything. I must say, this is like the first match I've seen today, at least, that had an Anarchy that was this slow, I want to say. It feels slow.
ScizR's got the better... Oh, okay, no, Sane made a quick... You recognize... Okay, ScizR went there to read him. I was like, who's going to go for this heavy armor here? Because it's coming up.
Wow. Nice rocket. I feel like he had that rocket going before the Dire Orb even appeared.
ScizR's in good shape right now. I mean, Sane is really doesn't been able to get anything, so all ScizR needs is one good lead-in shot. He can really go in for a kill here.
10.
There we go. Wow, 14 health, standing his ground as though he's full stacked. I like it. That confidence.
Foolish weapon selection, man. ScizR's sitting there at 14 health, and Sane's trying to run around a corner and rail him. He could have easily got the kill there.
Absolutely, but does does some of that come down to how ScizR stood his ground? Do you think maybe it made Sane think like, oh, this guy's not, you know,
Absolutely
3
not.
MG shots?
Absolutely not. That was just, even though I know he came around with a nice kill there, so I don't want people to think I'm riding him too hard, but absolutely not. That was just a bad read on his part to not get the finish by rocket launcher.
Okay.
I mentioned that because, again, you know, he got away with it here, but you know, you do that, you know, multiple times in a tournament, you're not going to get away with it every time, especially as the skill level of the opponent keeps going up.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that for sure. It's sort of like a fluke, you know, it's like a one trick and then done type deal. It's not something you really reuse ever.
All day long.
Nice engage by ScizR.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't remember the maps they played on last week, but I seem to recall, like, one of them, I seem to recall it being ScizR on Ruins that I was impressed by. And I was actually just sitting here looking that up.
Well, I want to see how Sane adjusts now. He lost his guy. He lost Anarchy. So, and this is not how you want to have to blow your ghost walk in a instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, he got caught because he had to blow his ghost walk defensively, which is never good. So now he's 50 health, just over 50 health, and then he went to very typical path to heavy armor, and ScizR just dropped on him. But excellent play by ScizR. Some mistakes there by Sane. Except he really should have had that finish by rocket launcher, even though he got it in later. And I'm still seeing a bit of a drop off. I'm curious to see if he loses Anarchy early in a match. How does Sane, how does he react? It just seems to me, again, it just seems like the confidence isn't quite there with the other champions as it is with Anarchy. So
I would really like to see him not first pick, or at least not run Anarchy first in the round. I think maybe that's. Rather, let me get to the point. Do you think a good way to train against that sort of like cornering yourself into one play style, is to make yourself not play it? Obviously, do you think that's effective?
Yes, I think you should play without Anarchy at all for a while for practice. Nice recognition there. ScizR did the opposite thing that Sane did in the other fight. He hit Sane with some good shots, recognized Sane was low, switched the machine gun, and got the finish. No need to go in there with a rail or another rocket. So there's good recognition there by ScizR to get a frag. Oh, nice ghost walk ambush. I love the rocket switch again. ScizR, good change of pace there. Threw a couple rails at him. Sane might have been thinking, oh, he's going to throw another rail down. Nope, I'm dropping down a rocket right now. Aggressive, but a nice calculated risk. So I like plays like that. It's really good. It's playing slick right now.
Yeah, he's changing it up, kind of at this like perfect pace. And as you can see, opponent is not always able to keep up.
Yeah, ScizR looking good, looking really good. Even you can see the confidence is kind of growing. It's interesting when you get in a match with somebody, you can feel like, hey, I think I got this guy. You kind of get that confidence going along, and I think it really helps. My opinion, it's like psychology. It kind of helps with landing those shots. Next thing you know, your rails start landing, and you're feeling really good about yourself. Sane's got to make an adjustment for sure right now.
Impressive.
ScizR dangerously low, Sane not pushing, so I think just that right there sort of helps you see like how in his head this match has gotten. Just as it's progressed. If that rocket had been a little better, that could have been an okay trade. I like the dire orb to sort of like get around him, as opposed to just dying straight up. But yeah, having a rail at that tight corner, we've talked about it several times tonight. It's just not the best weapon to have coming around that corner.
No, I don't like running around with rail pretty much around any corner. It's obviously a long-range weapon, and if you don't know, especially if you don't know where your opponent is. I mean, if you know where your opponent is, fine. You run around with it, and they're not in any danger. Oh my gosh,
like
good
that.
Positioning. Just nowhere to go. Good finish, easy finish for a guy like Sane. hit those
Yeah.
rockets like that. Oh, why?
This is mad. Okay, that's what happened. That's what
Okay.
happens.
All right. Nice. I'm glad he got that humiliation. But man, when he came around the corner with the peak rail, I was like, why? It's like, you had a rocket launcher, man. It's over right then and there, but it's okay. He got the kill. It just.
It's like I've been waiting all night for it to happen, you know. And if it's of course it's obviously an anarchy that does it. If anybody's been playing this game for a while, you know how frustrating anarchy with a gauntlet can be.
That was good. Sane needed some momentum. Really, really big round for him.
Yeah, this is a really good match to just sort of sit back and watch unfold because these guys are adapting so quickly or so often to each other. This is one of my favorite duels today.
Man, Sane, bro. I know you watch these again. Like, you're killing me with these running around with the rail. Sane's looking in great shape right now. Oh, excellent shot.
Just like a really solid back and forth between these two guys.
Just has to be a little careful right now because Visor being a little heavier than him. So just recognize that Visor can have his basic stack, and you can be overstacked with Anarchy, and you don't have that much more than he does. So Sane just needs to be careful not to get too ahead of himself. There's plenty of time left, so don't force a bad engagement.
Yep. Well, that's good. Yeah, just don't go up those stairs. And yep, I was about to say, pretty sure he read that one.
Nice finish. Sane making a great comeback here. This is
Yeah.
really good. ScizR really had him on the ropes this map, and Sane just pulled it together, and he's really on a run right now.
2, 1, fight.
And honestly, I'm sitting here trying to think, you know, who should change what strategy-wise. Both of them could make optimizations, but just playing it out exactly like this, I really think they're quite well matched for each other. This could go absolutely either way at any moment. Especially if one of them does crazy stuff like walk around a corner with a railgun every single time. Although he's been getting a little bit better, it seems. I think he's kind of catching on that that's not the winning strategy.
I mean, you could pull off some if you could pull off some great shots. I mean, there's people who do it. I just think consistently, you want to put yourself in those good habits because you're getting into this tournament structure. You're going to be going through the brackets. You're going to be playing better players, and all those little decisions you make are going to matter in the end. So it's just good to develop good habits, good frag finishing habits.
Absolutely, because at the higher tiers of play, he's going to run into so many shafts and rockets and shotties at that range. He's just going to get murdered. Absolutely. But there's always a place for those guys that can hit the most insane shots to where it doesn't matter what range it is, you know? Getting some early damage on that Nyx, forcing the walk.
Oh, ScizR had a little oops there, navigational error.
Yeah. Probably didn't want to fall down there.
ScizR he's in a great spot right now.
Yeah, he's forced Sane to kind of slow his roll a little bit, you know?
You just got to be careful really trying to make sure he keeps that anarchy, excuse me, the Nyx ghost walk timing in the back of his head. You know, recognizing when it's going to be up, when it's down. So, because there's scenarios where, for especially mega health out here, it's good to push with Nyx, and you come around with a blind ghost walk so they can't see the mist. So, even though he may think he has an item for free, he's got to keep that head on a swivel right now and just be ready for an ambush.
Absolutely. I think he's playing with that in mind as well. You see how he's looking around the map, how he's moving. He's not overextending in any one direction. He's really taking his time.
Impressive.
Oh, he's in trouble. Sane was in big trouble there.
Yeah.
To that first rail, he traded.
I mean, that's the range where, you know, the LG is just beautiful. So why are you trying to rail each other?
And the position he was in, there was not a lot of avenues for escape. So
I could see it if you're like railing a Nyx to try to get her to pop Ghost Walk early, but if you're just going to be fighting at that range flat out, you know, Lightning I think is always going to output more DPS, unless you're just a rail god.
it's just anytime you're in a duel and you're within one rail hit of death, you should be very wary about taking any kind of engagement if you can help it, pretty much. Because yeah, it's just, it really is a numbers game when you break it down.
Whoa. Walk straight out into
good
that
combo.
shaft.
And good finish.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it from ScizR. Just sometimes that rail of his would just go off, and then the recognition, you know, no funny business there. No rail, no rocket, just straight to machine gun, finish, get the kill. Don't even give the guy a chance. So ScizR looking strong this week.
Yeah, I'd
Just
see.
like last week.
Yeah, they both looked really good again. You know, it's just like they've both grown a little bit, and then, you know, I think ScizR was just a little bit further ahead on this particular matchup. Still very impressive. It's time to look and see if we have any other matches lined up for tonight. Let's see.
It's a good pick. I was about to say I'd be surprised if Sane didn't pick Corrupted Keep. Take the rail away from ScizR, force a RL and LG battle. I thought ScizR was really hitting some excellent rails to set up some engagements.
Yep, and I think I'm going to stick more on Sane this time around. See, check out his point of view, you know. I think I stuck on ScizR most of those last two, but the only map 3 of the night that I think we're going to see here on the stream, so. Wow, that's a heavy-duty team.
I like ScizR's lineup.
Yeah, that's really good.
Definitely like his lineup. Scale Bearer really shines on this map. Clutch really shines on this map. So I'm wondering how Sane's going to deal with this. Got a sore lag, but he's relatively light compared to ScizR, other than the Nyx.
Yeah, I think this. I think Keep was where I watched. I think it was an EU duel, where I first realized that I was underestimating Clutch so severely, and since then, you know, I've realized that I've also like been looking at Corrupted Keep maybe incorrectly. So I'm really curious to see how these guys are playing it. Very curious to see how these newer maps develop in the meta, because I feel like we don't really understand them. You know, when the depth of champions plus the depth of maps, we're not quite there yet. So each and every one of these matches is just another opportunity for like innovation and to see some crazy new stuff that you haven't seen before. I love it. That's always good practice, trying to lead rockets on Anarchy, because if you can direct hit him, you can hit anything.
Sane got away with 1 health right there, so he's very fortunate to survive.
Yes, I would like to switch. Thank you. There we go. All right, switched over Sane. X-ray on. Time to see how this madman plays. Woo.
First blood.
Okay, just in time. And have you noticed that, by the way, whenever you rocket pop Clutch, if he's in the middle of his dodge, sometimes it just like throws him all over the map?
I have not noticed. Oh,
That's unfortunate.
this is I really like ScizR on this map because of the charge and his stack, and he can move around pretty well. You know, he's not terribly slow. And again, Sane has lost Anarchy, so I want to see how he adjusts.
I mean, he sticks with the Ranger with a pretty average stack and a movement mechanic. That's a nice little rocket. I didn't think he was going to get it through the window. He does so to great effect. But yeah, look at his lineup. You know, it's Anarchy, super fast-paced. Anarchy kind of speaks for itself right now in the meta. And then you got Ranger, which is like dead in the middle. And then you got Sorlag, which is just a tanky air move, kind of point-blank DPS style champion. So
Yeah.
I have a tough time like figuring out exactly what this guy's playstyle is. Now that's a good Ghost Walker, an interesting one.
Well, it's definitely CPM Quake World. That's why he wants both the guys with air movement.
Yep. All right.
Nice, very nice.
Prepare to fight.
Sane coming out strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Just no.
Round begins.
He was lucky to get away with that 1 health, but he turned that luck into rebuilding his stack and getting some frags. And also,
Yeah, it seems like it kind of like jolted him into action. You know, he was like, "Whoa, I really got to do something now," and he just played it really calculated from then on out. Very impressive. Just both these guys, how much they've improved just in the last week. So
little foolish there by he had a shield up. He's too late. See, now it's too late. He really had an opportunity to use that earlier and push rather than allowing Sane to get all that LG damage on him like he did. Because that's where you really want to use the shield, is you want to get aggressive with that rocket launcher and really take the time, because you have the time with the shield to place your shots and do maximum damage.
Yep. It's usually not a luxury you have, point blank with a lighting gun.
Oh,
Maybe my kingdom's finally come.
nice rockets by ScizR there.
Yeah, I think he kind of like finally got him dialed in, you know, like he had his number, and it just that he probably, I imagine if you were looking at ScizR in person sitting there, he had to crack a smile, watching that Anarchy just burst into nothing.
I'm really, my opinion, I'm just not a fan of Anarchy on this particular map. It's just my personal play preference.
Do you think it's just too risky?
It's the rockets, because you're getting into rocket battles a majority of the time on this map. So if you're gonna die in 2 well-placed shots, that's I mean, against a good player, I mean, it's highly likely at some point they're gonna hit you with 2 decent rockets. So
that's a good point. I really don't have a lot of playtime on Keep, but I definitely see the argument, having played against a lot of Anarchies and really understanding how squishy he is. You don't want to put yourself into a position to even accidentally take damage at all.
Ooh.
Wow.
that was I know what he was going for. That was a nice idea, but he just didn't execute it. Sane was backing off the mega health, and he took opportunity, ScizR did, to push from above and not let him get the heavy armor, and he went for the charge, but then charged into the wall. He missed some shots, missed the charge, and ended up toast.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you like to see it when you're not the scale bearer, right? No one likes being bull rushed for a bazillion damage and thrown off a map or something equally annoying.
It was a good idea. He just didn't execute it properly, because that was certainly a kill opportunity. I can't argue with his logic there with what he did. It was unfortunate for him. I'm sure if he looks at the film or the video, and he'll want that back. Not the decision per se, but the opportunity to get that frag.
Yeah, and do you think it was just timing? Like, I guess in the context, he maybe could have gone for that a little bit earlier, or waited a little bit longer off that position?
No, I just think he He just bricked it.
Oh, okay.
he just bricked an open look. That's all that happens.
Oh, gotcha. These guys really going at it. Second round here.
Oh, this is a good engage. No, go all the way up.
Wow, really?
I almost thought he was gonna ghost walk and go all the way up on him. Not. Oh.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want to hit a pad whenever
Yeah.
your opponent's got a shaft out. Like, it's not gonna end well for you.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go up and jump pad, and he'd already been hit, and kind of went up that jump pad low, and just got finished by Sane. Unfortunate, because it looked like ScizR was getting some momentum there, and he might look like he's going to tie it up. So Sane's got him on the ropes right now on this map.
Absolutely. And so I don't know if he intentionally went off the jump pad. By the way, it's worth noting that the rockets that were fired on his right, technically, but our left on the screen could have popped him over into the jump pad. So it's something that I'd be curious to see, because I don't think he doesn't strike me as the type of player that would just make that obvious mistake, after coming all this way.
No, I mean, you can make safe assumptions that they're getting fooled based on other information that they thought they heard him in this area, or these guys are making decisions, and sometimes you make the wrong decision and somebody catches you off guard. It happens to the best of them. ScizR is in a really great position right now. I really like the clutch play, the clutch pick. Should be using his shield right now. Yep, getting in his face. Look at that! Look at that! See that? Easy money. Had all the time in the world to make that kill happen. That's what I really love about clutch on this map.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. It's actually like stress free whenever you play clutch right. It's just so easy.
Yeah, he's just a beast. Just avoid straight LG hit scan type battles. LG or railgun battles if you can.
Oh, disgusting nailgun.
And that's the big danger, is because you are the size of a house and you catch everything that's thrown at you. And
yeah, and armor penetration's higher on the nail gun actually, so it's pretty much
Sane just caught him off guard coming around like that. He wasn't ready for him at all.
Yeah, and point blank, new fire rate, new damage. I mean, it's an anti-robot cannon.
See, with Sane's background, especially because he's so good with Anarchy, I'm surprised he doesn't just come out the gate with Sorlag more often here. It's real tanky, the acid spit's disruptive, and it has that air movement he loves so much. So I think he might want to go with maybe Sorlag a little more often here. This is his initial pick, but I can understand why he picks Anarchy first, because, again, play a little theory crafting is that you're not getting the real benefit off his boost HP if you don't start him early. So
yeah, and there's definitely no guarantee that you're not going to spawn into a very unfavorable stack position if you play Anarchy later in your lineup. So I would like to see it, though. I have to agree with you. I don't think playing Anarchy first every single time is necessarily beneficial.
And opponents can play off of that. It becomes predictable, and I just think it's good to keep your opponent guessing and have a more versatile approach to your champion selection.
So that goes a really long way in this game. That mental aspect, that duel. It's a real 1v1 of wow.
Oh,
that's what we were talking about earlier. Don't chase.
Yeah, yeah, ScizR made an error there. He knew he was low, but ran right into some rockets and acid spit.
And so much damage coming out of Sorlag. If you hit even, those projectiles got lowered to 20 damage, I think, from 30. And even then, that's plenty of damage.
25, actually, for the directs. But, yeah, he had Sane on the ropes, but good. You got to give Sane credit. It's good defensive rockets and a good defensive acid spit.
Oh, no, I think he played it perfectly. I mean, he just baited him right on in, used all the tools at the right time. Completely deserved that.
Warning.
ScizR's got to be careful without this ghost walk coming around the wrong corner right now. Uh-oh.
Mm.
Oh! Sane was uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, he missed.
Such a narrow margin. He's...
Oh, that's a big turnaround for ScizR.
Ah.
Sane's in a world of hurt right now.
Yeah, especially killing all of his momentum on that jump. Did not do what he wanted to do there.
He needs to be just thinking about these regular health bubbles and the light armors right now. Just to get, I mean, because he can get 100 HP. I mean, 100 armor, just the light armor. So,
Oh, yeah.
being a little passive right now and making that Nyx come into is probably a good idea. And if you're the Nyx, you're looking just for one good ghost walk opportunity, one good ghost walk ambush, close the show.
Absolutely. I think, honestly, I'd feel a little bit better if I was the Knicks. I think that's a better offensive and defensive tool than just acid spit, you know? We'll see how he plays it. Just can't get too overconfident in a situation like that, even if you do have the advantage on paper.
Sane did a good job. He's back up to it's ticking down, but about 280 total stack right now. So using.
Oh, interesting. It's not entirely common to even hit those completely vertical shots with spit, but he was able to land one. Just trying to get a little more speed through the door, ends up wasting like 25 on the stack just to get through that room a little faster. And see, now this is where the movement really pays off. You know, that's where the little min-max, trade 15 or 20 on the stack to move really comes into play, because he was able to get around. I
like the push. Recognizing one, he got back control, so that was important. The way he did it. Remember, I mentioned earlier he was kind of low, so he needed to be careful and avoid engagement, which he did, and he got a stack back up. And then when he had an opportunity to push, he pushed. He recognized that Nyx didn't have the ghost walk again. And, one of the things about Nyx people need to recognize, once she uses it, that's it. It's down for a little bit. So that's your opportunity to really make plays on her and get aggressive, which he did. And it put ScizR in a bad spot. So a good win by Sane there. Really good win.
Yeah, I like how he held it together. They've both played really well throughout the whole series. And I think Sane, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but he had a larger deficit to overcome at one point. And didn't crack under pressure, it felt like. So, but I'm sure we're gonna see ScizR next week.
ScizR?
What did I say? It's so easy to make a mistake now.
Yeah,
ScizR? That's what it is, right? ScizR.
Yeah, ScizR.
Yeah. Was that? I'm sorry. Am I just insane? Was that not the third map?
No, it was not. It's 1-1 now. So this is ScizR's pick.
Well, rough times, Mac. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I really, I thought we started that off with Blood Run. I thought we went Blood Run, Ruins, Corrupted Keep. But ignore me. Well, that's fine with me. This is a badass matchup. I'm actually totally okay with seeing another map.
I figured ScizR would definitely go back to a map with the railgun, and this is a Blood Covenant is certainly an effective rail map. I know it can make a difference on every map, but in this map, you really can control the map, especially if somebody doesn't have one. So, yeah, it's a lot of peeking opportunities for both major items with the railgun here, and especially the open area and mid, and it's just an effective weapon in this arena.
Yeah, I think this is probably where he feels most at home in the current map pool, if we're looking at it from a rail perspective. We'll see. I mean, pretty standard draft coming out of him. Ranger Nyx, Visor, up against Anarchy Nyx Ranger. So.
Yeah, it seems like they're just going with what's most comfortable. ScizR has a little variation there. You can see from the map, right? Which I think is a better long-term strategy. I think your champion pick should be a little based on the map and not just on what you're comfortable with, because that to me implies that you're not comfortable with all the champions and lacking a little bit of versatility in that department. It could come back to haunt you. Oh, missed by ScizR. He went to slipgate to the rail after heavy armor, and he missed that.
Yep. Actually going to switch over to the Anarchy, see how he's using it, see if he's able to like maintain discipline as this duel goes on. That's another thing that we don't ever really touch on is like physical fatigue, depending on the champion you're playing. Certain champions, you have greater arm movements in terms of like arcs. I don't know if that really like factors in for these guys because it's not like they're playing a 5-hour long or 4-hour long match of, you know, just name any other competitive game that can go that long. I think, do you feel like in the current format the duels are like short enough that you don't really run into a problem where you're like, oh, I'm like physically actually exhausted? Do you think it's kind of like the actual perfect portion, so to speak?
I think it can run a little long if you have a really, let's just say it goes into many sudden deaths, and you know you're doing best of 3 maps, and you know that's a lot of Quake to play all in one sitting. So it can get physically, I guess, demanding in terms of just sitting there and going through the motions of playing nonstop without a break. I mean, it gets to me more now than I guess it used to.
Yeah.
but I think it's more mentally fatiguing than anything.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I feel the most, I think, is a very serious mental fatigue, because each one of your champion lives in duels is that much more impactful, you know? So it's like every single decision just becomes more important, more stressful or gratifying depending on the outcome. That's smart. Sane going back to check for the peak. I think he's got a really good idea of how ScizR would play this map. And he's sort of seeing it through his own eyes, seeing it through his lens, making some really good reads here.
Well, he's got both items on lock. ScizR just uses he needs a slow play him right now. Oh,
beautiful.
Great rails by Sane. Got to be careful running down that area. It makes a lot of noise, and it's easy for somebody to do the drop down shots like you just saw Sane do. So it's one of those areas you just got to take care of going around the whole LG area. Oh my goodness. What was Sane thinking?
He must not have been thinking he's got a railgun.
What was Sane thinking right there? That's very foolish.
Yeah, especially with no movement speed. I mean, he just basically popped himself straight up in the air.
Good read by ScizR. Good rocket having it waiting over there.
Yeah. Look at this. I mean, just like a book.
Quick turnaround now. So you got to be careful making plays like that. You make a little error in this game, and that's the wrap. Just like that, it's a wrap. It's amazing. You know, it's one of the things I love about this new Quake. Man, you make an error, and all of a sudden it can snowball. And it's like bye that round. You can just kiss it goodbye. I mean, that's
round 2.
You know, you used to see like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, or worst case like 6 spawn kills if you like really messed up in like Quake 3 Arena. But then you could bring it back. But here, I think it is like much more punishing.
Oh, good rails.
Good
Sane.
That's all I needed. It's the icing on the cake.
Switch the machine gun, Sane. For the love of God, please. Just one kill. Please, just switch the machine gun, please. I'm begging you, dude.
Well, we'll see if you.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I love the Hollywood of railing somebody with 20 health, but come on, man.
What? Didn't even look like it connected on the second one. And it looks like he's running through an exercise routine right now.
Ooh, that was a big ghost walk. He avoided some damage there.
And the question is, did he put himself in a favorable position afterwards?
Small area, same. We just realized that Mega's not coming for him.
Yeah. Ooh.
Nice play by ScizR. Really
Yeah.
good. Just the ghost walk after the rail and to be aggressive, and Sane made a little miscalculation there too. Should have kind of read that he wasn't in a good position to go hard for that heavy armor after getting shot like that. So good play by ScizR, with a poor decision by Sane to keep staying aggressive when he clearly should have went passive, and got yourself a frag and tie a game.
This I stand by what I said earlier. Definitely my favorite duel of the night, just in terms of this actual matchup. These guys are really good at adapting to one another, but ScizR's kind of running away with it in my eyes. Not completely, but he's made some pretty insane plays so far here on Covenant.
Really evenly matched. Sane just needs to work on cleaning up some of these mental decisions he's making.
Yeah, it does seem like he's just looking the wrong way at the wrong time more often than not. And that's a combination of his mistakes and ScizR just kind of playing him into that corner. I guess he had to walk there. Otherwise, he just takes probably lethal damage. Okay.
You just kind of see with the way Sane moves around and just the way he plays. Not quite the speed demon anymore, is he?
No, he's not. And I can't figure out if that's fatigue or him just.
Painful to be a dream.
I really think it's him losing anarchy. I really think it messes with him.
Yeah,
ScizR's
that
got
was weird.
good play by ScizR. Way to jump down with the rocket there. I mean, Sane's making some mental mistakes, and he's capitalizing. I mean, that's part of it too. Is he's got to have the skills to recognize and capitalize. It's a close match, but overall, ScizR's just being more steady here with the play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that 1,000%. Very consistent, kind of calm, calculated approach. It's really running away with this. You see some insane rails. I was saying there in the very beginning. That's enough to bring him down.
I got a machine gun out of Sane. He must have heard me.
Yeah. Oh. Kind of surprised. Honestly, never thought that would happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here like watching him very intently when he plays his anarchy. The mouse movement, the decision making is all so dramatically different. It's like he is anarchy, and then if he doesn't have anarchy, he's just like a pretty good Quake player. Not quite that anarchy Quake player. Or at least that's how he probably, how he might feel.
Big mega health grab there by Sane. It's a good defensive rail by ScizR to keep him from charging from rocket launcher, but he ended up falling down, and it's really aggressive there by Sane. It was good aggression though. It was way to get the kill there. ScizR was definitely on his heels.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like the beginning of this round. He saw that he had a mathematical advantage, and he just pressed that advantage slowly but surely without overextending, and he's pulling ahead because of these decisions. Just smarter decision making.
Yeah, now he wants to get that beam line over there to mega health, the heavy armor.
Oh yeah. Now,
he's the scissors. Oh, he almost caught ScizR because he missed the first one.
Yeah, that could have been devastating.
Yep.
This would probably be it though.
Yeah, that's definitely it. All right. Could get ourselves. I don't know. We may go to 5 rounds here. Good comeback from Sane. He really needed that round because it would have been over. But just to kind of get him back on track. ScizR had some momentum. Definitely had some momentum going for him. So I'm curious now to see. Just missed it.
Yeah, I think he needs the confidence. Yeah, I really think he just needs that confidence boost, sort of reassure himself that, this is a good lineup, that he could play without Anarchy, but the better option seems to be just don't die as Anarchy.
I like what ScizR's doing here. Even those little bit of 10s. Look at it. Oh,
Yeah, beautiful.
I like what ScizR is doing there. It's a little bit of damage. Any chance he got, he pulled out the heavy machine gun and just lining him up for 10s, right? And it's Anarchy. So I mean, you line him up with some of these little streams, 40 here, 30 there, 50. I mean, you're whittling him down to nothing. I mean, he can't sit there and have that engagement too long. So I like what ScizR's doing here, and he's got a sane off his Anarchy now, which is huge.
Yeah. And he went Nyx as the second pick, which I think he's done every time, except maybe once or twice as an exception.
Got away with he didn't get away with it. Just jumping down with rail like that. You gotta be wary about going in for a highlight shot like that, especially in a scenario where if you miss, what was his plan if he missed? I know a lot of top players. I'm not gonna miss. What's a miss? That's a very common thought for guys like this. What's a miss? But if you do miss, what's your plan? And he didn't really have a good one there.
Stopwatch.
It's like ScizR setting up same ambush he did earlier. Oh, and it worked again.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking, like, I was comparing Nick styles, and I noticed the same thing. Walked right into it, didn't he?
That was literally the same ambush he ran into earlier. So ScizR going with it until if it doesn't go with it until it doesn't work. Now this is where Sane's definitely going to be feeling some pressure right now. He's got about 2.5 minutes to go, shortly to be 2 minutes. And he's down a champ, so he knows. And those don't make pushing it easier.
Yeah, pressure is on. No doubt about that.
Great play.
Yeah.
I like it. ScizR, looking strong. Looking strong.
Yeah, Blood Covenant, man, he plays really consistent on that map.